Good morning, Anna. Do we anticipate seeing Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes, he confirmed. Let me send him a text.
Yeah, let's wait 2 more minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
He says he's on, so do you want me to go ahead and get started?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, my name is Ana Armenta, and I am the Arizona Racing Commission Secretary. Today is May 20th, 2025. This is the 735th Arizona Racing Commission meeting taking place via Google Meet. I will do the roll call. Madam Chair French Contreras,
Here.
Vice Chair Olson,
Present.
Commissioner Coolidge,
Present.
Commissioner Zucker,
Present.
Commissioner Padish. He is absent. He will not be attending.
Okay, thanks for letting me know.
We have a quorum. It is now 10:34 a.m. and the floor is yours.
Thank you. And welcome everyone to our 735th Arizona Racing Commission meeting, May 20th. Let's drop down to action item B, which is review, discussion, and possible action of number 1, the TP Racing LLP continuation of the hearing and status conference on the renewal of Turf Paradise's 3-year commercial and teletrack permit for July 11th, 24 through July 11th, 2027. This isn't new to anyone. So before we move forward on that, I do need to let everyone know that it has been determined that I may have a potential conflict of interest regarding the renewal of this permit. So unfortunately, it's necessary that I'm going to recuse myself from this matter only. And so for that reason, I'm going to turn action item B1 over to my esteemed colleague, Vice Chair Olson. Are you ready?
Thank you, Chair. Great. Well, for agenda item B1, I will turn it over to the department to get the status update.
Good morning, Vice Chair. Permission to be seated while addressing the commission?
Please.
Thank you. The Department of Gaming Racing Division is here to present information to the commission regarding the renewal application of Turf Paradise's permit. The division would like to have certain persons be administered an oath. Ms. Ana Armenta has that oath of the people who will be presenting to the commission so that the oath is administered and the presentation can move forward. Permission to have Ana Armenta administer the oath to certain individuals. And if I could just read those names.
Proceed.
That would be Juan Estrada. That would be Brian Duncan. Andrew Hawks. Right? Yeah, and that's all for, oh, one more, Mr. Jerry Sims, assuming he's online. So I would ask that Ms. Ana Armenta administer the oaths to those individuals by calling their names and having them recognize her by name.
Okay, any objection from fellow commissioners?
No, ma'am.
Hearing none, you may.
I just have one question for Val. are we swearing in Sean Tanner as well?
Ms. Armenta, thank you very much for pointing that out. Yes.
Okay.
And before you proceed, Ms. Marciano, if we could just also hear from independent legal counsel if we do have legal questions related to this matter, when the appropriate time to go into executive session, should we wait till the presentations are complete?
I would make that recommendation that you wait until the presentation is complete, because you may have additional questions and then it'll be more efficient.
Perfect. Thank you, Ms. Gavin. Okay, with that, Ms. Marciano, please proceed and with your presentation.
Thank you.
I'll go ahead and administer the oath. If those persons that she called out, if you can please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Please state your name for the record, starting with Juan Estrada.
Juan Carlos Estrada, Arizona Department of Gaming. Yes.
Brian,
Brian Duncan, Arizona Department of Gaming, yes.
Andrew,
Andrew Hawks, yes.
Jerry Sims,
Jerry Sims, yes.
and Sean Tanner.
Sean Tanner, yes.
Thank you.
Vice
Val,
Chair.
proceed.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I would ask Mr. Sean Tanner to make yourself available for any questions or discussion with the commission members at this time. The division does not have any questions for Sean Tanner, only to present for the commission to discuss the matter.
Hi, Mr. Tanner. This is Vice Chair Olson. And just to confirm, you're here to answer questions on the due diligence report, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I do have a few questions to start us off, and then I'll turn it over to my fellow commissioners if they have additional follow-up questions. Thank you for putting together the report. My questions begin on page 15 of your report. This is where you've created the chart. And what I'm hoping you would be able to do is to go through any category that you have not assessed a 1 and to give a high-level summary of your concerns and make yourself available to follow-up questions we have based on those summaries.
Sure, no problem. I think they are summarized here. I don't know if you have any specific questions. So I think the first one that was not assessed as a 1 was the analysis of the historical operating results. So the operating results are the income statement that is the revenue less expenses, and shows that the company has either generated a net income as a result of its operations or a net loss. This was identified as a 3 of potential risk because out of the last the years that we reviewed as part of the due diligence, while the financial statement showed positive net income, a large part of that net income was the result of federal and state incentive monies. So those are not recurring monies that the company can expect to receive into the future. And so when you remove those incentive monies from the results of operations, it showed that the company had lost money in all but 1 year between 2020 and March of 2024, which was the period of time we reviewed.
Are there any mitigating circumstances that you think going forward would reduce that risk?
Yeah, so we don't really know what the financial statements look like today. One of the things that we did suggest to the department was that we update our diligence procedures because they're about a year old at this point. So management did indicate to us that they had some, they expected some expenses to be reduced, and management also indicated, or more specifically, Mr. Sims indicated that he would be willing to provide financing to the company if they continued to lose money and they needed financing. So I can't really speak to whether or not any of those things occurred because I haven't seen more recent financial statements since we did this work about a year ago.
Got
But
it.
those were the risks that existed at the time and the potential offsets to those risks.
And as part of expenses reduced, you're referring to, I think from your report, the litigation expenses that are expected to be reduced?
Yeah, there were some litigation expenses, and I think there were some other expenses that the state had picked up that Turf Paradise thought that the state may continue to pick up in the future.
Okay, thank you. Please proceed. Or I'm sorry, any other questions from my fellow commissioners on that line item?
No, ma'am, not here.
Please proceed.
So the next item where we did not, where we assessed the risk as something other than one was the fourth item down on the first page of that chart. This was analysis of sources and uses of cash. And I'm going to have to read through these as I respond because this report is about a year old, but it was finalized in April of this year, but it was really performed a year ago. So really the risk here is that, again, it's very similar to the income statement. It's about whether or not the company is generating sufficient cash to maintain operations. So of course, when there's a history of losses, we look to see what resources the company has stashed away as reserves, and whether or not those reserves are sufficient enough to continue to support ongoing losses should they continue. In this case, there was a cash outflow rather than cash inflow from operations. So operations were using cash prior to consideration of some of the incentive monies, again, that were received by the company. So again, between 2020 and March of 2024, the company received $22.6 million of incentive monies. When I refer to incentive monies, that's PPP loan forgiveness, federal and state fiscal recovery funds. So those are ARPA funds and employee retention credits. And so it's those monies that effectively created a positive cash flow. When you take those away, there was a significant reduction of cash over the course of those years. And so again, it's really just a matter of where future financing will come from. And the offset again here is the commitment of Mr. Sims to provide financing to the company should they need it if the company continues to operate at a cash loss.
Thank you. And based on your past review, correct me if I'm wrong, there has been historical instances where Mr. Sim has financed any shortfall?
Yes, there has.
Okay. And any other questions from my fellow commissioners on that line item? Mr. Zucker.
Thank you, Vice Chair Olson. I wish to ask Mr. Tanner, in his professional opinion, these distributions, is that permissible use of state fiscal recovery funds, the distributions that were made?
I can't speak to that. I have not audited their use of those fiscal recovery funds. What I will say is I did identify it as a risk. The fiscal recovery funds are provided for specific purposes. And so the state is monitoring that activity, the state and the department. And so I think Jackie can probably speak to that better than I can because the Department of Gaming was responsible for actually analyzing Turf Paradise's compliance with those grant agreements. And then I think since the state is actually conducting their own audit of the compliance of use of those funds.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Zucker. If there are no other questions on that item, we'll ask you to proceed to analysis of related party transactions.
Yes, so analysis of related party transactions. This is the next item that was not assessed as a 1, it was assessed as a 3. So we did see this as a risk. And again, I'm going to have to take a minute to read through this, so just give me 1 second. So again, here, the risk is what we just spoke about. There was 15, there was distributions, net distributions totaling $15.6 million between 22 and March of 2024. As stated, from an operating perspective, the business did not generate positive cash flows and sufficient to fund these distributions, nor did they have that cash in the bank, if not for those federal and state incentive monies. And so we did identify it as a potential risk that, upon audit by the state, that there may be, that there may be a compliance issue with those grants. But again, I can't speak to whether or not there is. We just identified it as a risk. And it's ultimately the Department of Gaming who had responsibility for monitoring that activity, and it's the state that's actually auditing it at this point.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the commissioners on this item? Okay, and then we've got a couple of category 2s, analysis of lawsuits and their potential financial impact.
So again, a 2, this is, this is just under 1. It's really just because we don't know the outcome of these. So there are some lawsuits that are outstanding. We don't know what outcome will come of those lawsuits. And so this has just been identified as a potential risk.
And that risk is normal with any kind of lawsuit that comes with a company.
That's right. There's just some uncertainty there.
Okay. What about the analysis of historical business operations?
So again, there was some lag behind general market results in 22 and 23. Again, these are averages across the nation, and so these aren't necessarily specific to a geographic location, which is why this is only a 2. But when we compare the operating results of Turf Paradise to some nationwide averages, they lagged behind those averages slightly, and so we just identified this as a potential risk.
Okay. What about the analysis of federal tax returns?
Again, this just has to do with the incentive monies, and if there was any issue with the qualified use of those monies, it could impact the returns.
Okay. And then finally, the net worth statement, is at the same risk?
No, the net worth, I think, is a little different. Most of the net worth estimates are, as I understand it, they're based on management or Mr. Sims' own estimates. They're not supported by third-party valuations in many of these cases. And so, it's the accuracy of those estimates is what the risk is. They may not be accurate estimates because they're not supported by third-party valuation work.
Okay. If those estimates were accurate, would the funds of Mr. Sims be sufficient to cover the shortfall you've projected?
Yes, it appears so.
Okay. I think that's all of my questions. I'm just checking my notes. Anything else from my fellow commissioners? Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes, of course.
Madam Vice Chair,
Yes.
the department would like to have Andrew Hawks of the department present matters to the commission.
Please proceed.
Hello, good morning. I'm Andrew Hawks, Assistant Director of Business Administration with the Arizona Department of Gaming. I am appearing before this commission to provide an update regarding the grant closeout process for the federal ARPA grant monies that were dispersed to Turf Paradise, as well as an update on the state COVID recovery funds dispersed to Turf Paradise. Starting with the federal grant funds, the Office of Strategic Planning and Budget for the state of Arizona, OSBB for short, has found that the majority of the expenditures submitted by Turf Paradise related to the federal grants were allowable expenditures. Others were categorized as either disallowed, questioned, or unsubstantiated. Turf Paradise has been given the opportunity to remedy these findings by providing supporting documentation for the unsubstantiated and questioned expenditures and to substitute additional allowable expenses to take the place of disallowed expenditures. The opportunity to remedy the findings is a standard part of the grant closeout process that OSPB has afforded to other grant recipients during their ARPA grant closeouts. Turf Paradise has been cooperative, and to my knowledge, it has not been suggested or inferred that there has been any nefarious or intentional misuse of state or federal grant funds to date. Though OSPB has not yet notified the department that they are 100% finished with the review of the newly submitted documentation that Turf Paradise provided in response to the initial findings, OSPB has indicated that they're close to finishing, and the department can report back to the commission with final closeout results sometime in the near future to the extent it is pertinent to matters before the commission. Given that the grant closeout findings do not materially impact the financial viability of the permittee, I do not believe it is relevant to the permitting process. With regard to the state recovery funds, the department entered into agreements with Turf Paradise requiring certain documentation to be submitted to the department, substantiating their state recovery fund expenditures. Based on my review of the agreements and the submitted documentation, Turf Paradise complied with the requirements of the state COVID recovery fund agreements. Additionally, and related to the financial viability of Turf Paradise, as assistant director, I reviewed the financial report generated by the Keegan Linscott firm regarding the financial condition of the permittee TP Racing LLOP, as well as the financial condition of the permittee's principal, Jerry Sims, who holds a substantial interest in the for-profit entity. I note the financial report outlines concerns related to the permittee's operating losses and cash flow when state and federal relief funds are removed. I also note that a principal of a for-profit entity may have a financial motivation to protect an asset by covering shortfalls in cash flow. I now direct the Commission's attention to ARS Section 5-108, which outlines the factors to consider in the approval or disapproval of the renewal of a racing permit. I have confirmed that TP Racing LLOP permittee has submitted the financial statement and balance sheet called for under ARS Section 5-107A4, paid the cash deposit required by ARS Section 5-107C, posted the bond required under ARS Section 5-107D, paid all amounts due the department in connection with its permit and renewal application, and fulfilled all obligations to the department related to the state recovery funds in the total amount of $9,463,606. And I am here to answer any questions you may have to the extent I have or know of the information that may be responsive.
Thank you, Mr. Hawks. I'm sorry, Ms. Marciano, do you have questions first?
Yes, and thank you, Vice Chair. Mr. Hawks, can you just speak to the commission about that $750,000 budget item?
Yes, certainly. So HISA has an annual assessment, and that's assessed on a calendar year basis. In calendar year 2024, the obligation to pay that HISA assessment, which was approximately $750,000, fell on the state. So the state paid the HISA assessment directly. Prior to calendar year 2024, the racetrack, Turf Paradise, was paying HISA that assessment. And I know that it was mentioned in the Keegan Linscott report that was one of the expenses that the racetrack had incurred in the past that may not be a liability for them in the future, since the state started paying for it in calendar year 2024.
Vice Chair, may I ask another question?
Please.
Mr. Hawks, is there any certainty whether the state will pay that, or are you awaiting more information?
That is a kind of a policy decision that gets made between the legislative branch and the governor's office. So I can't be sure one way or another whether that obligation will fall on the state or the racetrack moving forward.
Vice Chair, I have no other questions of Mr. Hawks.
Thank you so much. Mr. Hawks, I do have a few questions for you. On your presentation related to the grant closeout process, you made a comment that the department did not think what was outstanding would materially impact the threshold here. Can you explain to us what you mean by that and what kind of dollar amount we're looking at for an immaterial amount?
So what I stated was that the outcome of the grant closeout process would not result in a finding that would impact the financial viability of the racetrack. It is believed at this point that all of the federal monies dispersed to Turf Paradise will be properly accounted for. And so the dollar amount would be zero. That's left to figure out.
Okay, thank you. And you also mentioned the HISA assessment, and Ms. Marciano asked you some questions about it going forward, and we understand there's some uncertainty there. Does the department view the $750,000 assessment as a material amount as to the track's financial viability if they were to have to pay that in the future?
Well, I think that this goes back to the point made that should the track experience a negative cash flow or negative results of operations, that there is the safety net and commitment of the Mr. Sims to cover those shortfalls.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hawks. Mr. Zucker, Commissioner Coolidge, Commissioner Zucker, questions?
This is Commissioner Zucker. Thank you, Vice Chair Olson. I wish to pose the same question to Mr. Hawks as I did previous in his analyzing this. Did we find it permissible use of state financial or fiscal recovery funds for the distribution to ownership?
Mr. Zucker, the recovery funds, both state and federal, that were dispersed to Turf Paradise were not utilized for the owner distributions because the whole of those monies are accounted for in permissible expenses.
So did I misread the financials? The 15.6 million that was dispersed to ownership was a repayment? Is that what you're suggesting here, sir?
No, I apologize. What I'm saying is of all of the money that was dispersed to Turf Paradise from federal and state recovery funds, those were used for allowable expenses such as operations, expenses related to the safety of the racetrack and participants, and that's fully itemized, and none of those expenses include disbursements to owners.
So I'm unclear where this 15.6 million that seems to have been dispersed from the proceeds of the federal and state funds. If that was dispersed to ownership, then you're saying that was an acceptable expense? Is that correct?
No, Mr. Zucker, I would say that all of the grant monies were accounted for with expenditures that did not include owner distributions. And so those owner distributions came from a separate source.
And Mr. Zucker, could you just refer us to the page you're looking at so we can all be on the same page?
I was referencing on the financials that Mr. Tanner had presented on the chart that referenced the distribution to ownership of 15.6 million. I believe I can pull it back up. I believe it was, let's see here. On the chart, analysis of sources and uses of cash, statement of cash flows, exhibit 3. The company reported negative cash flows from operating, investing, and it goes on to say in the final statement, as a result, the company's cash balance, resulting in net cash outflows totaling approximately 16.5 million before consideration of compensation and or management fees paid to related parties. Vice Chair Olson, I'm just trying to identify that 15.6 million. Did that come from state and federal recovery funds, or was that from another source? That is my question.
Yeah. And Mr. Hawks, are you able to answer that question or point us to documentation where we can learn?
Ms. Olson, I did not conduct a financial analysis of the permittee like the firm did. What I have seen is a full accounting for the federal and state COVID relief funds, and none of those funds were used for the owner distributions. It's possible, I think, based on the report, that were it not for the for those relief funds, that the owner distributions may have been altered in some way or reduced, but they were not used directly from the funds that were the relief funds.
Thank you, Mr. Hawks. Commissioner Zucker, does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you.
Perfect. Any other questions from our fellow commissioners?
Nothing from me, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Marciano?
Yes, Vice Chair. I would ask just to note for the commission and the parties that are appearing here that Juan Estrada will be reporting on B2, item B2 regarding the ADWPs. So he will make his presentation in this hearing, but it also relates to B2. And so I ask that Juan Estrada please address the commission regarding the ADWP applications.
Good morning, Vice Chair and Commissioners. I'm Assistant Director of Racing here at the Arizona Department of Gaming. I'm just here to report to the Commission about the status and advanced deposit wagering provider license applications submitted by ExpressBet, CD, TIC, and TwinSpires TVG. The Commission has authority to allow advanced deposit wagering by an advanced deposit wagering provider pursuant to ARS Section 5-112M, that's uppercase M, which would generate source market fees that are distributed pursuant to that statute. With that said, upon the Commission's approval, the Arizona Department of Gaming issues the ADWP license pursuant to Arizona Administrative Code AAC R192-402, and the ADWP must comply with the rules applicable to it under the AAC in order for the ADWP to be licensed. For example, the ADWP must submit a plan of operations for approval pursuant to AAC R19-2-404, and is required to maintain a contract with one or more Arizona racetracks permittees under AAC R19-2-409. Obviously, there's no other requirements. These are just two of them. To further inform, ExpressBet, TwinSpires, and TVG have all provided documentation to the department with applications. As of this hearing date, the department is still conducting due diligence review of such information. With that said, when that due diligence review is complete, and assuming that Turf Paradise Racetrack permit is renewed, the department will report back to the commission of the department's findings so that the commission can decide whether or not to approve that advanced deposit wagering by the ADWP in Arizona. Upon satisfaction and compliance with applicable statutes and rules, and such time as the commission gives its approval, the department would issue the ADWP. With that said, based on everything said here, and based on the outcome of the due diligence of these sections towards the end, I would like to give a recommendation, but not until that outcome is rendered. Thank you.
Ms. Marciano, do you have any questions on that, or?
No, Vice Chair.
Okay, and Mr. Estrada, if you could just clarify for us the relation of that presentation to our current agenda item.
I would speak to that. The ADWPs, the providers, are contingent upon the approval of Turf Paradise's permit renewal application. So we wanted to make sure the commission was aware of that connection with the permit renewal application hearing.
Okay, but our action on those permits have no impact on or it's an after the fact decision, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
With that, Vice Chair, could I ask questions of Mr. Jerry Sims?
Please.
Mr. Sims, can you hear me?
Were you able to hear me?
I can now, Mr. Sims.
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you, sir. And you are Jerry Sims, correct?
Correct.
And I'm Val Marciano. I represent the Department of Gaming Racing Division. I just have a couple of questions for you. You hold a substantial interest in the racing permittee, correct? Can you hear me now?
We lost connection.
Are you able to hear me?
I can now. Could you hear my question?
Oh, okay.
sir?
Yes, the answer is yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. Tell me, Mr. Sims, was the electricity running through the meet this past 2024, 2025? It didn't get turned off or anything, correct?
Ms. Marciano, I'm sorry to interrupt. The secretary lost connection and is trying to reconnect, so we can allow her a minute or two to connect.
Thank you. We'll wait just a minute.
Sorry about that. I'm back on.
All right. Can Mr. Sims hear me now? Mr. Jerry Sims?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can. Thank you, sir. My question was, during this last racing meeting, was the electricity turned on and was it running?
Yes,
And was the water running? Was it water coming out of the faucets and toilets flushing? We're going to do it again. Can you hear me, Mr. Sims? Do we know if Anna lost?
She's still.
I'm still on here. Let me see if I see him. I don't see him unless he dialed in with the phone number.
You did dial in. I saw a phone number. Well, Vice Chair, if I may, can we go ahead and proceed with Mr. Duncan and in this? And I will say, is there, Anna, is there a way to try to contact Mr. Sims to see if he's going to continue to appear at this hearing?
Yes, I'll try.
Yes, Ms. Marciano. I do want to be sensitive to make sure Mr. Sims can at least hear us while we proceed, so that he's informed about
Yes,
what's going on.
Yes, ma'am.
And please feel free to stay seated unless you wish to rise. But yeah, if we could just confirm that Mr. Sims is on, and I have no problem moving forward to another presentation in the meantime, but I would like to confirm he can hear us. Is there somebody else on the line that can confirm for us that Mr. Sims can hear us?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Hi, Mr. Sims. Yes, we can
Yes.
hear you now.
Yes, I'm sorry, I lost the connection.
Okay, we just took a quick pause while we lost you. You can hear us and we can hear you.
Yes, very good.
Okay, Ms. Marciano.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Mr. Sims, my question to you was the water running throughout the racing meeting? Were you able to provide water to the facilities?
That was a short interruption, and then we went on city water. So there was something that happened during the meet.
Were the water bills paid?
Yes,
And were the employees paid?
yes,
And are the real estate taxes current?
yes.
And if there are any shortfalls, who will pay those shortfalls in operating expenses?
I will.
And why do you do that, sir?
To protect my investment.
Okay, I don't have any further questions for Mr. Sims at this time. He may wish to comment or present once Mr. Brian Duncan gives his presentation, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Marciano. Mr. Sims, I have a couple questions for you, and my fellow commissioners may as well. Just to follow up on the line of questioning Ms. Marciano had for you. We understand that you've covered shortfalls in the past, and that as we sit here today under oath, you're willing to cover shortfalls in the future. Is there an anticipated, or do you anticipate being able to cover all of the shortfalls projected by the financial due diligence report should they occur?
Repeat that one time. I wasn't sure
Yeah,
I
so-
understood the question.
We understand you've made payments to cover any shortfalls in the past, and the financial due diligence report projects shortfalls in future fiscal years. Based on those projections, do you have the financial wherewithal to cover those shortfalls in the event they occur? And I think we might have just lost him. Mr. Sims, are you still here?
I think we did lose him. I don't see the number on there.
Okay, we'll just give him a minute.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now, Mr. Sims.
I'm sorry. It just cut out on me again, so.
It's okay. I'm going to repeat my question. So, we've heard that you've covered shortfalls in the past, and that you're willing, as you sit here today, under oath, that you're willing to cover shortfalls in the future. My question for you is, based on the projected shortfalls in the financial due diligence report, do you have the financial capabilities to cover that amount of shortfall?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Zucker, Commissioner Coolidge, any questions?
No, ma'am.
Vice Chair Olson, I just would like to commend Mr. Sims for personally covering those shortfalls. As a prior owner of a large venue operation, professional sports, it is not an uncommon practice for a primary owner to reach into their personal account and cover shortfalls, as Mr. Sims has stated, to protect the overall interest and integrity of the business. So his practice, although may not be performed in actual loan filings, is not uncommon for a primary owner of a large operation similar to Turf Paradise.
It's appreciated. Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Nope. Ms. Marciano, anything else from you?
Yes, Vice Chair, nothing for Mr. Sims, but we do have Brian Duncan here for his presentation. And again, we just want to make sure Mr. Sims is still on the line.
Great, and my understanding is Mr. Sims might be able to make himself available if you have questions after Mr. Duncan's presentation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Please proceed.
Good morning, Vice Chair, Commissioners. This is Brian Duncan, Racing Enforcement Manager for the department. I am appearing before this commission to answer any questions the commission may have to the supplemental update to the original items from the department. The department's letter that was sent to Turf Paradise dated April 4th, 2025. All responses to Turf and responses by the department were provided to the commission. If the commission does have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them to the best of my ability and knowledge of the question.
Ms. Marciano, do you have further questions?
I do not.
Okay. Mr. Duncan, thank you for being available today. I do have some questions, and I'd like you, just for the sake of the public record and for our re-education, we received these letters and we've reviewed them. There was one dated May 16th where Turf Paradise has responded with updates to the most outstanding items, and I'd like for you to address with those updates, in your view, what still remains outstanding and what concerns you might have, Mr. Duncan.
There's still some quite a few outstanding items, and I'll name the items basically. There is a second ambulance that was purchased. It still has not arrived. Go through my list here real quick. There is a second vet that they're going to be hiring. He needs to make sure that he's got his certification and qualifications prior to next meet. Items that were completed need to be, and there's several of them, cleaning of the offices, tarps around the test barn area that just need to be maintained. They were completed, but they just need to be maintained throughout the next meet.
And Mr. Duncan, on those items, they've met your request, but the department just wishes to seek continued compliance.
Yes, and then there are other items such as some of the stable area roof. Those need to be inspected and repaired if needed by a professional other than their maintenance department. A third party needs to provide us what needs to be done to that area. There is some paddock area in the stalls that need to be repaired as well. And again, the jockeys area needs to be maintained. One of the bigger items is going to be, they did rent the tractors and the water trucks. Those need to be, again, rented prior to them starting the meet. So that it gives the track person plenty of time to condition the track properly prior to opening. Most of the dates that we've requested in the letter are by September 1st. There are some other dates that are prior to that. And let me see, the turf course is the same. Need to make sure that they have the proper equipment, proper personnel to make sure it's maintained throughout the meet. There is the lighting issue as well for morning training. That needs to be repaired. They're going to replace 3 lights and adjust, I think it's 4 others, and add LEDs so that the lighting is safer for them when they're doing their workouts in the winter months when it's not light out early in the morning. Again, I believe that is September 1st as well.
And Mr. Duncan, can you explain to us why you and or the department chose September 1st as the deadline for these requests?
That should give Turf Paradise plenty of time to get the items completed, and if there is some adjustments that need to be made, that still gives them approximately 30 to 40 days to update anything else that we still see unfit or needs to still be repaired.
Okay, and it sounds like from your presentation today that there will be things that need to have continued compliance, and some of these concerns will be only able to be implemented closer to the meet. What I want to understand from you today is, are there any present concerns related to track safety in the department's opinion that would weigh against us, issuing the permit today?
Easiest way to say that is if everything is complete, then the answer would be no. But again, we've been asking for these items to be done, and I believe by September 1st, if they can get these completed, they should be okay to go. But again, still have to have them completed prior to them opening up.
Okay. Commissioner Zucker, did you have a question?
Yes, Vice Chair Olson, thank you. Mr. Duncan, I recall last summer, possibly June, before I was on the commission, there was an extensive list that was prepared by the department of repair items. How many of those items on that former list last summer still remain on this current list that has recently been updated May 16th?
I don't have that current list in front of me, but I can say there's at least the potholes, the lighting, making sure that we do have proper equipment to work the tracks prior to the meet opening. The cleaning of the offices is still on the list, and the condemned area, which they're going to demolish as well. I'm not sure which other items are still on there.
So, sir, what I'm hearing you say is these are items that have existed throughout the entire meet and almost a year later are still on the list. Is that correct?
I would have to say that's correct.
What incentive or assurance would we have should we issue a license that by September 1st, these items we won't be talking about this a year from now?
I would think that would be a question for Turf Paradise.
Yeah, this
And
is
Mr.
Jerry
Sims,
Sims.
Mr. Sims, we're gonna have to hold, we're until Mr. Duncan is complete, okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, Commissioner Zucker, on that?
That concludes my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Duncan, I do have a follow-up question. In your view, is there a difference between safety standards to issue a permit versus safety standards the department expects to see for the commencement of live racing?
Can you repeat the question, Vice Chair?
Yeah, I appreciate a lot of your concerns today, at least what I've heard from you. Please correct me if this summary is incorrect. A lot of the concerns relate to the commencement of live racing. Is there a difference in the department's view between safety recommendations for a permit versus safety recommendations for live racing? Understanding that while a permittee holds their permit, they aren't live racing 100% of the time.
That would be correct. I mean, the safety issues, while they're not racing, can be fixed, but during live racing, they should be fixed prior to that.
Okay. And can you remind us the date that live racing would commence?
I don't have that in front of me, but it's basically the beginning of November.
Any other questions from my fellow commissioners? Ms. Marciano?
Thank you, Vice Chair. The department doesn't have any other questions to be presented to the commission in this. And if Mr. Sims would like to comment on what Mr. Brian Duncan reported, certainly the division's happy for him to do so.
Okay, before you proceed, I thought at the beginning you had mentioned Director Johnson would be presenting today, or no?
Vice Chair, if the commissioners have questions for Director Johnson, she's available for that purpose.
Okay, thank you. So at this time, then the commission will hear from Mr. Sims and then potentially Director Johnson.
Thank you, Vice Chair Olson and commissioners. Number one, the April 4th letter from the department, we've answered fully. I think you've all probably got tired of reading all the answers back and forth. But we've gone out and done more than we've been asked to do. And Mr. Zucker, Commissioner Zucker, I'm not sure. I heard the ones that Mr. Duncan read off, but I didn't write them down, but I'll do the best. On the lighting, we're doing things way beyond what's being asked of us. As Mr. Duncan responded about the LED lighting, we're putting in 2 additional poles. We're putting brand new fixtures in on the 2 that are being referred to, and we're adding 2 brand new poles. We have located, there was as far as the trucks, I know prior on the list was about the water trucks, but this last season, we did go out and rent 3 new water trucks. And part of the time that it took was to take the arms, the 20-foot extended arms that are unique to racing and had to be transferred onto the other trucks. And in addition, the brackets that have that arm able to swing had to be transferred to the new water trucks. We got that done in about 9 days and got the water trucks to the truck. I've improved upon that for the new season, and I've located 3 pony motors for the water trucks. And I know there was a question about did the exact amount of water come out in the middle of the track, is the end of the track, and so on, and by the rail. But this would alleviate anybody's thinking about that. And as bad a job as it could have been portrayed, as you probably know, HISA called and said we were the lowest or the second lowest fatality rate. And again, that's on live racing. It does not include quarter horses or workouts, but on live racing, we were the lowest or second lowest in the entire United States. And as you know, all of you, we don't get the same horses that go to the Kentucky Derby or go where the purses are much, much larger. So we're not working with the same. In spite of that, our crew worked really hard, and I want to congratulate all the people, including the department that worked with us, the veterinarians, the staff, and our staff to accomplish that. That was a group effort, but that's something that we should all be proud about. when I spoke to Mark Guilfoyle this morning, pardon me, he said that one of the most important things to him is that our rate was half of what it was last year. And he said that kind of improvement is really, really good. We're replacing the rest of the rail on the dirt track. We purchased 360 8-foot aluminum pieces, and starting today, they're taking out the old Fontana rail that still exists, any parts of that. So the new pieces had come from Los Angeles to Phoenix, where they're being fabricated, made to fit our rail. And then those will start to go in once we receive them. We haven't received them yet, but we're starting to take out the Fontana rail, the old Fontana rail today. And that should make it all uniform, completely around the mile oval. On the grass track, we're taking out the any damaged vertical poles that hold the horizontal rail. And we're putting new coupling. And it was important to Daryl Hare to have them be flush so they're not protruding in case there would be an accident. But those couplings are being done by us, and those will be done as a summer project. In addition, as we went over and above by saying I would hire somebody to do the watching of things that need to be repaired. And I hired Tony Valencia, who's worked for Turf for 13 years. And during the season, his sole job will be to look for things that need to be repaired. And that's something over and above. I will tell you that the Horsemen had a study done, and it showed that 165 million a year goes to the economic benefit of the state. And as we all know, the governor is working on a very difficult budget, and to lose 165 million out of her budget would be catastrophic, in addition to all the thousands of jobs that would be impacted. I'm sure the Horsemen would have to relocate. Some would go out of business if they have small farms, small operations, and the larger ones would relocate to other states where they have racing. But anyway, I feel like we're doing a lot, and we're trying to do more than we're even being asked to do in some instances. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Mr. Zucker. My fellow commissioners, any additional questions on the outstanding safety items? Okay, thank you, Mr.
Madam Vice Chair, I was scrambling for my.
Yes, of
my
course,
mute button.
Commissioner Coolidge, please.
Mr. Sims, as far as the December 1st date that the department has put together for you to get all these issues resolved, I didn't hear it from your previous comments, but I just want to make sure that that's on your radar and you don't have any issues with that.
You mean the September date?
Yes, sir.
Did you say September? Yes, we're aiming to. Now, some of the things are beyond our control. When we order pieces that we're going to make for that rail, the grass rail, the couplings, we're kind of stuck waiting for when they arrive. Things have to be fabricated, and I'm just using that as an example. But in general, I would tell you we're aiming for September 1 to have everything done. And that's our goal. And I'm hoping to be able to meet that goal.
Mr. Sims, what other potential roadblocks would you see other than the fabrication issue to meeting the September 1st deadline?
Well, when the poles, when they get the poles, I know it was mentioned about, I knew one of Mr. Zucker's points, Commissioner Zucker, was about the potholes. Potholes keep reoccurring and will always reoccur. The Santa Anita, as an example, has no asphalt back, no potholes, because they only have dirt. When it rains, it's mud. We have to do it really twice a year, before the season and then during the season. Because what a trainer does is they wash down a horse every day, and that water hits the asphalt, hits the asphalt below it, and the water is what creates potholes. I remember years back, I spent an awful lot of money and I tore out all of it and put brand new asphalt in the entire backside. And it looked pretty. But you know what? As soon as we had water on them, we had potholes again. There's just no way. You have to keep repairing them. So I hope that answers what you were asking about potholes. Regarding the question about what else, I don't know. I'm hoping that we're planning ahead enough. For example, the poles that we want to put up new poles, 2 new poles for lighting in addition to the other 2 fixtures with the LED. I'm not anticipating any holdup. We're jumping on stuff early. We got those 360 panels for the rail, dirt rail, moving within days. It was ordered. My general manager took a check to the place personally and got them ordering that and getting it to us. So I'm not anticipating is my answer. I'm thinking we could get it all done, but I just don't want to say 100% because you just never know.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sims. Any other questions from fellow commissioners? Hearing none, Ms. Marciano.
Can I add one point? I'm sorry to interrupt. Just one point I wanted to say.
Sure.
Thank you. If Mr. Duncan or staff during this process come up with anything additional, we'll do it. We're not saying no to anything. And so, and to demonstrate that, the things I mentioned going beyond what was even asked. But if there's anything additional that comes up, we're going to do it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sims. All right, Ms. Marciano, anything else from you?
Vice Chair, if the commissioners have any questions of Director Jackie Johnson regarding the permit renewal application, she can be sworn in and you can direct those questions. I do not have any of her.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I do have 1 or 2 questions for Director Johnson, if you could proceed with that.
Ana Armenta, please administer the oath to Director Jackie Johnson.
Yes. Director, if you could please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Please state your name for the record.
Jackie Johnson, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director Johnson. And my apologies if these questions should be directed towards somebody else. But after we've heard from everything, I just had a couple of questions kind of from a high level. In the financial due diligence report, or the first presentation we heard about, there was a note about the department's, I guess, decline to update the report. Can you just explain to us the reasoning behind that decision?
Vice Chair Olson, yes. So the department is under the belief that the due diligence report that was provided, which was January 2020 through March 2024, remains a reliable and accurate representation of the permittee's financial position at the time the permit renewal application was submitted. And then the department does not have reason to believe that there's been any significant changes to the financial report. And then also I would just mention in Ms. Marciano's questioning of Mr. Sims, that was part of our analysis of, all these, we haven't seen any undue or outstanding balances that haven't been paid. So from the department's position, that the financial report is still an accurate representation based on the renewal application.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. And then I guess my last question would be if the department has one, if they have a recommendation on action.
Vice Chair, yes, if the commission is looking for a recommendation, as the director for the Division of Racing, I recommend that the renewal application be approved. But I would also recommend that the commission require Turf Paradise to provide updates on all the track summer projects at every monthly meeting, including an update after the September 1st deadline, which the department has given to Turf to complete the projects. The department will conduct monthly inspections over the summer to track the progress of these projects, repairs, and maintenance. If there are any material safety issues prior to the race season beginning, the department will alert the commission and request a special commission meeting where the commission can consider action against the permit or a delay to racing.
And is it the department's opinion then that it's in the best interest of the state and the industry of racing to grant that permit, and that those interests outweigh any potential concerns?
Our analysis is looking at the statutory requirements or the reasons for any type of permit T renewal application. And so I specifically, look at ARS 5-108. And so all those are taken into consideration to determine, whether the permittee is in good standing for renewal of their permit. And so if the commission, wants to go into executive session, that's fine, but specifically looking at 5-108 is the authority that the commission's looking at regarding the renewal.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Those are all my questions for the director. Commissioner Zucker, Commissioner Coolidge, anything from either of you?
None at this time. I would like to make a motion that we move into executive session.
Second.
And would that be for the purpose of receiving legal advice?
That is correct.
Thank you. With a motion by Commissioner Zucker and a second by Vice Chair Olson, I will call the roll. Chair French Contreras. Madam Chair French Contreras.
She is recused from this matter.
Okay. Vice Chair Olson.
Sorry about that. I'm recused from this item on it.
Okay.
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge.
Yes.
Commissioner Zucker.
Yes.
And Commissioner Padish is absent. With a total of 3 yeses. Thank you. That motion passes. It is now 11:46 a.m. and we will move into executive session. Thank you. Looks like we're all back in. Would you like for me to proceed, Vice Chair?
Yes, please proceed.
I will call the roll. Madam French Contreras,
Here.
Vice Chair Olson. Vice Chair Olson,
Here, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect, thanks.
Commissioner Coolidge,
Present.
Commissioner Zucker,
Present.
and Commissioner Parrish is absent with a total of 4. Thank you. We have a quorum. It is now 12:06. And the floor is yours. Vice Chair Olson.
Thank you. Okay. So from the department or any other Assistant Attorney General, is there any other presentations that need to occur before the commission deliberates?
Vice Chair Val Marciano for the division, no. But I would like to note for the record, the material that was submitted to the commission in consideration of this permit renewal application. Just list them if I may.
Please.
All right, it would be the financial report issued by the Keegan firm, the April 4, 2025 letter issued by the Department of Gaming Division, Racing Division, and the responses from Turf Paradise that appear in bold. The April 10, 2025 email material from Turf Paradise, May 13, 2025 email material from Turf Paradise, May 16, 2025 update from the department. Statutes were provided to the commission, and the testimony and presentations today.
Okay, thank you. Anything else we need to do before the commission deliberates?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, I'll open it up to my fellow commissioners. Do you have any thoughts?
One thing I would say, Madam Vice Chair, is that I appreciate all the diligence that the department's put into this as far as everything needed to put this together, and Turf Paradise's requests and responses to those requests.
Thank you. Commissioner Zucker, anything from you?
Well, yes, I sequentially, I'm not sure if this is appropriate time. I really like to give Turf Paradise the opportunity to demonstrate the remedy to these items in this list. And what's presented to us doesn't really allow that, since it says the completion of the submitted list repair, and that list is not complete. Therefore, I wish to propose or make a motion to continue this hearing for a period of 115 days in order to give Turf Paradise that window that they request of September 1st for a completion of this list.
Commissioner Zucker, I would second that motion, but with some amendments if you're open to them.
Most definitely.
So I agree with you. I think, and I also agree with Commissioner Coolidge. It's evident that everyone's put a lot of diligence into preparing the materials we reviewed and working towards goals of track safety. We heard from folks about historical and future commitments under oath to fund any shortfalls. We also heard about commitments under oath to work towards the September 1st deadline. Nevertheless, our agenda here talks about the completion of the submitted repair list. And we'd like to have, I'd like to see some monitoring of the repairs towards the requested completion date of September 1st. So I would propose to amend your motion to include at least monthly site visits from the department with monthly updates at our commission meetings from both the department and from Turf Paradise. We'd like to see these terms reduced in writing. And we would also request that the department report any extenuating circumstances immediately so that we could convene a special commission meeting to evaluate whether different safety action might need to be taken. And then we'd like to see documentation of the progress. So for example, if there were additional actions to be taken, and it might require some sort of contractual arrangement or documentation. We would like to see that documentation on a regular basis as it's complete. So those would be my proposed amendments to your motion.
Accepted.
Great. So I'll second that motion.
Thank you. With the motion by Commissioner Zucker and a second by Vice Chair Olson, I will call the roll. Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Zucker,
Yes.
and for the record, Madam Chair, French Contreras recused herself and Commissioner Paddock is absent. So with a total of 3 yeses, that motion passes. Did you say conditional?
No, it's a continuation of the hearing.
Oh, passed by continuing the hearing. Thank you.
Correct. So with the continuation of the hearing, we would direct staff to be prepared to present a summary of the presentations here today so that we won't have to repeat them again in September. Thank you so much.
Could you please read back the motion as it was approved?
Anna, are you able to do that?
I think he wants the whole detail. If you can go ahead and give that to him.
Okay.
Ms. Olson, would you like me to try that?
Yes, please.
Okay, and Mr. Sims, I'm going to do my best. So the motion was that this matter would hearing would be continued for 115 days to allow TURF to come into compliance by the September 1st deadline that was communicated to you by the department. During that time, the commission or department staff will conduct at least monthly inspections at the facility to monitor the progress of your summer goals and your list of repairs that need to be made. We also expect reports from the track at every monthly board meeting during the summer to include the progress that is being made. The motion was amended to include that you submit documentation with respect to that progress. For instance, if you're renting water trucks or, ordering the fabrication of rails, that documentation has to be submitted to the commission with each of those reports so they can see what steps you are taking to acquire the equipment and ensure that you are in compliance with the standard. These requirements that are part of this motion are going to be reduced in writing and provided to you. Staff has been directed that at any time during this preceding 115 days, if there are any issues at the track that jeopardize the public's health, safety, or welfare, the staff is to return to the commission immediately and notify them of those updates. And that staff is going to prepare a summary of the testimony that occurred at today's hearing. So when we continue this hearing in 115 days or so, we will not have to redo the testimony that was submitted today, and we could just continue on. I believe that covers everything.
That sounded great. Thank you, Jean.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. And you'll get it in writing.
Okay, Chair French Contreras, I think it's back to you.
Thank you very much. And I want to extend my thank you and appreciation to all the parties, the commission, Vice Chair Olson, Turf Paradise staff, and representatives, as well as the gaming and racing staff for all the due diligence they've done. Everybody's worked really hard on this issue, and it's greatly appreciated by everyone. So thank you very much. With that, I think we can drop down to item B2, which is the hearing on advanced deposit wagering provider license renewal applications. We have 2A Churchill Downs Technology Initiative Company, DBA Twin Spires. B ODS Technologies LP, DBA TVG Network. That's also a 3-year license. And number C, ExpressBet LLC, consideration of a 3-year license. Do I have any updates or recommendations from staff or comments from fellow commissioners? Yes, sir. Go ahead, Vice Chair.
Oh, sorry. I just need to recuse from 2B. So if we could break it into different votes, that's all
Yes.
my request.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so we are going to break that out. Let's look at 2A Churchill Downs Technology Initiative, Twin Spires, and C ExpressBet LLC. We'll look at that as a motion first, but let's see if we have any comments or updates from the staff.
Madam Chair, Val Marciano.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to turn it over to Juan Carlos Estrada just to make his recommendation for the record.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, Chair. Based on the outcome for item number 1, I would recommend that the commission extends along with Turf Paradise 150-day to keep it in with the same on track. We will continue to do the due diligence, at which time we would issue a recommendation as well.
All right, so my understanding then is we want to continue item B2A through C, but we'll break it out into 2 motions so that we don't have a conflict with Vice Chair Olson, correct?
Correct.
All right, do I have a motion to continue item B2A and C for the 115th day so it coincides with item B1?
Chairwoman,
Yes.
I wish to make a motion
Yes.
based on what you just described.
Right, that sounds great. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Anna, go ahead.
Thank you. With the motion by Commissioner Zucker and a second by Commissioner Olson, I will call the roll. Madam Chair French Contreras,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Zucker.
Yes.
With a total of 4 yeses, that motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. How about a second motion regarding item B2B?
Madam Chair, I wish to make a motion on B2B based on what was previously discussed.
All right, we will also continue that so that it coincides with the timeline in item B1. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead, Anna.
Thank you. I have a motion by Commissioner Zucker and a second by Commissioner Coolidge. I will call the roll. Madam French Contreras,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson,
Recuse.
Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Zucker.
Yes.
With a total of 3 yeses, that motion passes. And forgive me, on the first A and C, that was 4 votes, not 5.
Thank you. All right, let's drop down to item B3A, 1 through 3. That's going to be the simulcast agreements pursuant to ARS 5-112U for Turf Paradise. We have Fort Erie, Saratoga, and Canterbury Park. Do I have any updates from the staff regarding this item?
Good morning, Madam Chair. I did supply all the contracts and reviewed them. Everything is ordered for items B3A 1 through 3. The department would recommend the 5-112U contract be approved for Turf Paradise.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a motion? Yes, Vice Chair.
I apologize for doing this, but I have a quick question for legal counsel. Can we, I'd like to make a motion to move to executive session to seek legal advice.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. With the motion by Vice Chair Commissioner Olson and a second by Madam Chair French Contreras, I will call the roll. Madam French Contreras,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge,
I'll be a yes, and I also have a hard stop in 9 minutes, just as an FYI. Thank you.
okay, Commissioner Zucker,
Yes.
with a total of 4 yeses. Thank you. That motion passes. It is now 12:21 p.m. and we will move into executive session.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, everyone, for your patience.
Looks like we might all be back. Do you want me to go ahead and get started, Madam Chair?
Yeah.
I will call the roll. Madam Chair French Contreras,
Here.
Vice Chair Olson,
Here.
Commissioner Coolidge,
Present.
Commissioner Zucker.
Here.
With a total of 4, it is now 12:25 p.m. and the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to go back to agenda item B3A 1 through 3, read out. Do I have a motion or any discussion on the matter? Do I need a,
Sure.
go ahead.
I'll move to conditionally approve the simulcast agreements pursuant to ARS 5-112U, conditioned on continued permit of Turf Paradise.
Second.
Thank you. With the motion by Vice Chair Olson and a second by Commissioner Coolidge, I will call the roll. Madam French Contreras,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Zucker.
Yes.
With a total of 4 yeses, that motion passes on conditional approval. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, let's drop down to items B4A 1 through 3. Again, we have Fort Erie, Saratoga, and Canterbury Park. Vice Chair, are we going to have a recusal on 2?
Nope, that was item 2. So we're good
Great.
here.
Okay.
Unless there's an update from Mr. Duncan, I'm ready to make a motion.
Mr. Duncan, are we good?
Vice Chair Olson, I don't have any updates.
Okay. I would like to move to approve agenda item 4A, items 1 and 2, simulcast horse racing import signals pursuant to IHA section 3004A3, conditioned upon Turf Paradise's continued permit.
Second.
Thank you. Go ahead, Anna.
I'll call the roll. Madam Chair French Contreras.
Yes.
Sorry, let me backtrack. I have a motion by Commissioner Olson and a second by Commissioner Coolidge. I will take the roll. Madam Chair French Contreras,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Zucker.
Yes.
With a total of 4 yeses, that motion passes with conditional approval.
I'd like to make a motion to conditionally approve item 4A3, simulcast horse racing import signals pursuant to IHA section 3004A3 for Canterbury Park, conditioned on both A, Turf Paradise's continued permit, and B, the receipt of all pending documentation, and to empower the department to act without further action once those documentations are received.
Second.
Thank you. With a motion by Vice Chair Olson and a second by Commissioner Coolidge, I will call the roll. Madam French Contreras,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Zucker.
Yes.
With a total of 4 yeses, that motion passes with conditional approval. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And as stated earlier, we will be losing Commissioner Coolidge. So I want to thank him for all his time and effort this afternoon. We will still have a quorum with the 3 of us. So with that, we will move down to item C, which is the information reports. And we'll start with number 1, track safety report. Do we have Mr. Duncan or Dr. Gale available?
I'll let Dr. Gale go ahead.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Dr. Gale, are you with us? Mr. Duncan, did we lose her?
Looks like she's here. Just, I don't think she can hear us.
Okay. She's worth the wait.
Okay, can you hear me?
There you are.
Let me move over here. Computer issues. All right, mute. Okay. All right. Yeah, I apologize for that, computer issues. Again, just a brief report reflecting what Turf Paradise owner Jerry Sims said earlier about the rate of, oh, there I am, breakdowns at Turf Paradise. This race meet is historically low level. The rate we had this year was below 1. It was 0.73 per thousand starts. Out of 5,500 horses that left the starting gate, we had only 4 that suffered catastrophic injuries. This represents a 48% reduction in the rate from the January through May 2024 meet, and it represents a 66% reduction in the rate from the November 2022 to May of 2023 Turf Paradise meet. Again, I also comment that this is truly a team effort. All the stakeholders involved, from the horsemen, trainers, owners, jockeys, the HBPA, track ownership, management, the track maintenance, surface maintenance crew, the track veterinarian, the medical team, as well as the Department of Gaming staff and leadership. The only other comment I'll make is that the Racing Risk Management Committee held regular meetings during the season and addressed challenges that occurred during the meet and identified opportunities for improvements going forward. We are required by HISA to submit a report, a questionnaire that they put forth, and I certainly will. It's due June 30th. I will certainly share at least an executive summary of that with the commission at the next meeting. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions from my fellow commissioners? Mr. Duncan, anything to add to that?
Madam Chair, no, she did a beautiful job. And again, just thanking everybody in the department and all the medical staff out there. And what a wonderful job they did for lowering the rate of injury fatalities.
I would agree. Thank you very much. All right, let's move down to C2, the OTB report.
Chair, so that OTB report is in regards to the request you made to us to report back to you. I'm here to answer any questions should you have any.
No, sir. I think under the circumstances, we, unless there's any change to the information that was given to us as far as the division of the income or the monies that are from off-track betting, I think we're good for now. Thank you very much. Let's move down to C3, budget report.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Andrew Hawks with the Department of Gaming again. I'll be providing the budget report. At the end of April, the racing fund had a cash balance of approximately 1.8 million. Total revenues year to date were just under that at 1.78 million, broken out by category. And our total expenditures out of the racing fund were approximately 1.6 million, not including the HISA assessment shown below that, which comes out of a different spending authority. Next slide, please. This chart represents our spend year to date and encumbrances compared to our appropriation, which is the maximum spending authority for the racing fund. Next slide. And this is the state of the racing fund's cash balance at the end of every month year to date so far. Happy to answer any questions if anyone has any.
Thank you. I have one question that may be for you or for Director Johnson. I think they're still working on the budget. Where are we at as far as making payments on the future HISA assessments Has there been a determination if the department's going to continue to pay that or where we're at with that?
Director Johnson, would you like me to respond to that?
Go ahead, Andrew.
I believe that that's contingent on what the budget looks like when it gets passed, of whether the racing fund can sustain it or whether it will need to come from the racetracks.
Okay, has there been any discussion about where it would come from if the department doesn't have it in the budget?
I believe that the only other option, if they didn't get paid by the state, would be to be assessed to the racetrack director.
Okay, thank you. Let's drop down. My fellow commissioners have any questions on the budget?
Nothing from me, thanks.
Thank you. All right, let's drop down to legislative update number 4.
Good afternoon, everybody. Jessica is Chief Legislative Liaison at ADG. I'll be providing an update. So we are on day 128 of the legislative session. The legislative session is done with its regularly scheduled committees. House and Senate were both in recess last week to provide time for the legislature to work on the state budget. House returned this afternoon and Senate will return next week. As a brief update, I've been reporting on SB 1126. This was sponsored by Senator TJ Shope. It does remain under consideration as the legislature continues moving through the budget process. This is the bill that includes provisions designed to promote greater economic stability within the horse racing industry in Arizona. There have been no substantive changes since last month. Due to the current state of the budget, it's still being reviewed as part of the broader budget negotiations, along with some of those conversations about the HISA assessment. So we'll continue to monitor and provide an update when one is available. If any of our stakeholders are interested in discussing legislative or budget impacts on the racing industry, you can contact me and schedule a meeting. Happy to have that conversation. And in other updates, as you are all aware, our commission currently consists of 5 appointed members. Until recently, however, not all of them had undergone their official confirmation hearings. So we're pleased to share that last month, following their vetting process and the hearing before the Senate Regulatory Affairs and Government Efficiency Committee, Chairwoman French Contreras, Commissioner Padish, and Commissioner Zucker were all unanimously confirmed on April 23rd. They each have now received full confirmation from the Arizona State Senate to continue serving. And the department, of course, is excited to continue working alongside all 5 commissioners as we support the success of Arizona's racing industry. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions from my fellow commissioners? All right. Thank you very much. Let's drop down to number 5, report on HISA. Mr. Guestman, are you available?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon. I think it's afternoon now. Chairwoman Contreras, Commissioners, Leroy Guestman with the National HBPA. I do not have anything new to report. We're still waiting with the United States Supreme Court to determine if they are going to hear our cases. I do know I can report another lawsuit was filed this last month against HISA, again dealing with the unconstitutionality of their organization or their structure. And then I would like to also mention, as a substitute for HISA, the National HBPA has been working for the last 2 or 3 years on developing Racehorse Health and Safety Act. And that act is now been introduced in the United States Senate and the House, and has been assigned to committees in both the House and the Senate. So we are continually working on trying to get back to the states running horse racing and not the federal government. The one other thing I would like to mention, if all of this does come about, we have a lot of Arizona rules that are outdated. And we have started even back with Greg Stiles many years ago in trying to update these rules. And I would recommend that we get back to work on getting this process done in case this does happen with the Racehorse Health and Safety Act. Any questions? I'd be glad to answer them.
I don't know if this would be better for you or for the staff. Would it be beneficial to put together a subcommittee to work on those Arizona rules, or would that be something the staff would be tasked with on top of everything else they have in order to get everything caught up?
Well, I think the staff has been on again, off again on working on these. But yes, myself and Wendy Hobson have both been involved in previous meetings and working with the horse racing part of the rules. And we would like to continue to be part of that process. But that's up to the department to organize that.
Okay. Yeah, I look forward to getting updates on that. I think that would be very beneficial to keep moving on. Maybe we can get updates from the staff at a later date as to the need for that subcommittee or staff action in order to update all those rules. And if there's anything we can do, please let us know. Let's drop down to number C6, permittee report. Let's start with American Greyhound Racing. Do we have anything? How about county fairs, 60? Yes, Mr. Herrick, go ahead.
No, Madam Chair, I apologize. I'll wait.
That's okay, no problem. How about Turf Paradise, Mayor Francia?
Madam Chair, thank you. Just to say, to reemphasize, to re-promise that Turf Paradise will be filing multiple monthly reports with Director Johnson as to the progress we're making on our projects so they can be distributed and to the commission. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, sir, very much. Any other questions from my fellow commissioners before we drop down to 7? Otherwise, let's drop down to our optional industry stakeholder association updates. How about Arizona Counties Racing Association? Arizona Quarter Horse Racing Association? I know,
Yes.
Go ahead.
Chairwoman Contreras, Commissioners Leroy Gussman, Lloyd Yoder asked me to fill in today, and I'll just make a brief statement for both B and D.
Okay.
Mr. Yoder is on a flight back to Phoenix currently, and unable to make his report. But we're excited that it looks like there's a chance that we may be racing again next year. We're also excited that the department is taking a strong stand in making sure all these projects get done. So I just want to thank the commission for all their hard work and the follow-up to come through the summer. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. How about 7C, Arizona Thoroughbred Breeders Association?
Good morning. I guess it's afternoon. Good afternoon, Chairman and Commissioners. Debbie Zimmerman from the Arizona Thoroughbred Breeders Association. In April, we held our annual membership meeting and awards banquet. We recognized our 2024 champions. And the next day, we had our Breeders Festival, which was a big success. We want to congratulate all of our champions and their connections. Breeders and Owners Awards are now going out for March, April, May. And horses are all gone far and wide, hoping everyone had a safe travel and a successful summer. The Arizona ATBA is now working on their sale to be held October 23rd, 2025. Any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Zimmerman. Any questions from my fellow commissioners? Thank you, and we appreciate your report, Ms. Zimmerman.
Thank you.
Let's drop down to 7E. That would be the Jockeys Guild. Mr. Hare?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the commission. I'm Daryl Hare, Western Regional Manager for the Jockeys Guild. I've been in this position for 25 years. I wore the white pants for 15 years, I'm glad to say. And my job as a manager with the Jockeys Guild, I have the whole Western region. And it's, in my position, I try to make things as safe as I can for riders. And we have benefits for riders in the guild. And I'm their go-to guy. So what I'd like to address the commission this way is I am fortunate to see what Arizona did this meet, working together. This just coming together with their backs against the wall, whether it's Dr. Day, Dr. Gale, Dr. Butler, Dr. Cole, working with the state, it's been really a good thing. Just a concentrated effort to make things go right, and it showed. Working with Brian Duncan, Juan Estrada, Director Nelson, it was really, it was such a good thing. And the stewards, having qualified stewards there to make things safe, and with Jason Hart, John, Claudia, and the safety steward made a big difference. Don Roche was on top of things, made me feel good, and the riders, because the riders watch everything, and everybody came together. And to echo what Mr. Guestman said, you know, that things can get done, and working with HISA, just adapting to the change, it showed coming together. With the industry as it is, it's so important. What I want to express right now is the safety issues that I see, and it concerns me still at Turf Paradise. Whether the things that need to be addressed, whether it's 2 ambulances or, you know, things that can be addressed right away, in my opinion. But it's ongoing, whether the lighting system, we've been trying to get this fixed for a year. And simple things like having a shed for the pony boys so they're not sitting in the sun, so they won't pass out on the way to the gate with the jockeys. Things like that, you know, it just doesn't happen, and it's concerning me. With the machinery, the maintenance, Mr. Sims, you know, at least we have tractors now, and they're rented in water trucks. Hopefully the pumps will be fixed. But we've really gotten through a lot with everybody just going the extra yard to make things work. I'm just hoping that with the support of the commission, that we get these things taken care of. And my concern, big concern, is the rails at Turf Paradise. Mr. Sims stated that, you know, they're gonna fix the rails or stabilize them or whatever gonna do. I've been out there, and same with the inside rail. With the Fontana, it used to be half Fontana, now at aluminum. Now it's gonna be aluminum. There's safety rails out there that can be put in instead of patching it up. You know, this is what I see, and I've walked it. And I have to tell my riders to stay away from the rail because it's got tape holding it together. It's not right. So my hope is, with the support of the commission, that these get addressed. There needs to be 2 new rails at that racetrack. I don't know what Mr. Sims' intentions are, if he's going to sell the racetrack or not, or what he's going to do. But while he's in, please get all in and get this taken care of. The people that work so hard in Arizona, the horsemen, to make it work, you know, they deserve it. Its racing could be so good, and it is. It's getting, but it be
Yes, sir.
so
We hear you, and I do apologize. I do have to keep our
I understand.
to 3 minutes, and I do apologize. You can also speak at call to the public, but your concerns are noted, sir, and we do appreciate your representation and everything you've done, and I think we'll all be involved in everything that's going on through the summer and getting those updated reports, and hopefully you'll have the information you need to reassure you that your jockeys are safe, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank
Yes.
you. Yeah.
Any comments or questions from fellow commissioners? All right, go ahead.
Just nothing from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's drop down to item D, commission report. That's number 1, summary of current events affecting Arizona Racing Commission. Do any of my fellow commissioners have anything to report or discussion or requests?
Nothing from me. Thank you.
No further updates. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Let's drop down to D2, identification of matters to be placed on future agendas. Anything from my fellow commissioners?
Not for me. Thanks.
Thank you. I would just like to bring up, I don't know if this would really fall under 1 or 2, but if we could consider a workshop for the commission or additional presentations, trainings over the summer, when hopefully, I know things never are really going to slow down, but it would really be beneficial. I'd love to see a workshop or something put together for all the commissioners to just bring them up to speed on everything going on racetracks and who the individual players are and everything that goes on behind the scenes. I think it would really be beneficial to our entire commission to be involved if we could schedule something in the future. Anything else? Otherwise, I'll drop down to item E, which is call to the public. Anna, I didn't see a list. Do I have a call to the public request? Oh,
No,
there.
I didn't
No.
receive anyone.
Okay, do I have anyone that would like to speak? Mr. Hare, go ahead.
Madam Chair, just to continue, I work with whoever I have to just assure these riders that it's going to be safe for the future. Instead of things need to be addressed and because I don't want a catastrophe to happen when I'm trying to avert. When you have a old facility like Turf Paradise, you have to maintain it, and there's so many areas that need to be addressed. And I've stated numerous times that I don't see enough workers, and I'm always told there's enough, but things don't get addressed. I think you need an army, really, not an army, but you need a lot of people working at that place to just bring it up to speed. It needs to be cleaned and sanitized. I'm frustrated from what I've seen, and I just hope they do the right thing moving forward. If there's any questions, anybody has any questions for me, bring it on.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Your concerns are noted. Thank you. Dr. DiFilippo, you raised your hand.
Yes, Commissioner Contreras and commissioners, I really want to support your concept of having a study session over the summer, because I believe, as we well know, you can tell by the agenda, there are some items that require cleanup, especially as it relates to maybe a lot of the nonprofits and county associations that literally they're not participating, but the nonprofit is still on the books. And the people who are sitting in those positions have not been associated with horse racing for at least some of them 8 years. So I do commend it, and we will look forward to that. And I would hope that those study sessions would be open to public. Thank you.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Just to clarify, anytime the commission comes together with a quorum, it is published and the public is allowed to attend. So that's just statutory, so. Keep an eye out and I'm sure staff will update the agenda or update the calendar as it comes forward. So thank you for your thoughts and concerns. Anybody else before we close out our meeting? All right. Well, with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I wish
I
to make,
apologize, Anna, you're right. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. Our next meeting, June 12th, is in person. It is a Thursday. Since we are done with racing for a while, we're back on Thursdays, folks, and the staff had worked hard to give us in-person room for meetings on Thursdays. So that meeting will be June 12th, 10 a.m. Thursday at the Arizona Racing Commission offices in Suite 302. With that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, sir.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Anna, go ahead.
Thank you. With the motion by Commissioner Zucker and a second by Commissioner Vice Chair Olson, I will call the roll. Madam Chair French Contreras,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Kulish is off already. Commissioner Zucker,
Yes.
with a total of 3 yeses, that motion passes. Thank you. It is now 12:57 p.m. and this meeting is adjourned. If everyone can please exit the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. It's very appreciated. Have a great day and a great weekend. Bye-bye.